Welcome back, everyone, to Mystic by Colette, the channel dedicated to helping you empower yourself, rewrite your story, and claim your I am. My name is Colette Mesdag, and I am an intuitive guide, and I'm also the creator of the Mystic Empowerment cards. Today's reading using these cards is for the question of feeling alone. And that's a topic that's come up a few times in some of the recent card readings that I've done for clients, and looking for ways to feel more complete and fuller when they're adventuring alone, whether they've been recently widowed or just in transition with regards to relationships, but also too feeling alone as far as connection to spirit. And so we're going to address that this week with the reading. We'll get right to it, and then we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about the cards and what's happening for Mystic over the next little while. So what I mentioned at the beginning of this video was that I came up with this theme after a few readings that I've done for clients, that the question was either about relationship or feeling disconnected or feeling alone. So the theme is about feeling alone and how we need to reframe that a little bit. So we'll see what the cards have to say here, and in order to get some clarity. From the Mystic Bliss deck, we have I Am Abundance. Now that's interesting, because the first thing that comes up for me is I am abundantly connected. I'm not alone. I have abundance of love and energy around me. Now that might not be represented in the relationship status that you might find yourself in, but that is speaking about our connection to Source and that we're really never alone. And feeling alone is really a projection of resistance to the connection that we have to everyone around us, everybody who is in our, not even immediate, but in an expansive way, every soul that has been, is, and will be is a part of who we are. So we're really never truly alone. So we are abundantly connected. We are abundantly full of energy that is reaching out towards us to assist and connect. So we can be talking about spirit guides. We could be talking about opportunities to connect with mentors. So there's a lot of other things that this could relate to depending on your personal situation. So trust what comes up for you and just allow. We're seeing a figure who is admiring the abundance of the floral glory that she's holding, and she's sitting on a very solid foundation, a rock, and she's looking very, very comfortable and very, very happy. So whether or not your question or your feeling alone is with regards to relationships or otherwise, look at all the ways that you are not alone. But go back to last week where we were talking about what else is possible. So if you're feeling alone, where are you not alone? And reflect on that energy and shed the energy of aloneness, because you're not alone. So I have to admit that this card jumped out when I was shuffling before, so I actually know what it is. However, I think it fits so beautifully, I decided to keep that one. And this card is from the Mystic Journey deck. It is a mother card, as indicated by the alchemic symbol of water in the corners. And she is I am enough. And she is number 27, which can translate to 3. So those of you who are following up with these readings and going into numerology or angel numbers, keep that in mind as part of your additional exploration around this theme. How is that connected to I am enough? I have an idea, but it's not my forte, so I leave that up to people who would like to research that a little further. So I am enough is speaking about your now, your quest for somebody or something that will fulfill you, or a connection that you will feel less alone because of, may not be the answer to all of this. It could be just reconnecting with yourself and know that you're never alone. You always have your higher self as part of your experience. So you are needing to reconnect possibly and remember that there is a lot more to you than you may give yourself credit for. And that could be actually the answer, that if you are looking for a new relationship or connection, a deeper connection with coworkers or family, or even you are in a relationship, but right now things feel a little turbulent, just go in and realize that you are enough and become connected to that energy so that you can expand and release the negative energies that might be pushing people away or opportunities away. And in saying that, I want to reconnect to the fact that as we expand our positive energy, we draw more to us. It's more abundance, more people, more opportunities, because we are expansive rather than retracting. Now, this has been part of a learning curve for me recently, because I've had some challenges, and the message keeps coming up: I am enough, or expand in order to realize that I am enough. So it's interesting that it popped up. As I said, it jumped out before I even had a chance to lay the cards out, so I knew what it was. And at first I thought it was specifically for me, but then the answer came, no, it needed to be part of the reading, but I needed to be very aware for myself. So I love the way these cards play with timing. All right, so our third card coming from the Mystic Men of Magic deck for action and awareness is speaking about protecting. But let's look at protecting slightly different. I know that when I first created this card, my thought was that this was defending, protecting, being careful, but I came to realize that one of the things that comes up for me when I look at protecting is I am hoarding, or I am cowering, or I am going within in order to not feel vulnerable. So I want to step into the energy of vulnerability and address this in the sense of, when you are feeling vulnerable, you shrink, you go within instead of expanding. And that can be kind of a subliminal message that you're sending out to the people that you want to connect with, whether, again, go back to whether it's relationship, work-related, family, whatever it is, and you are not allowing them in. No wonder you feel alone. And that is also energy. If you're not allowing energy connections to happen, you are cutting yourself off. Therefore, you're feeling alone. Therefore, you're feeling disconnected. So it's important to shift how you're protecting yourself. Expand your energy and protect yourself that way, rather than contract and make yourself small so that you have no room to move, have no room to explore and open up. Because if you're tight, you can't open up, and therefore you can't invite energy in, whether that's, again, relationships or connection to spirit. I do want to mention that this particular card is sitting in the East, which has been happening a lot lately, that the Eastern cards are coming up for these readings. And I don't know if that's because I'm addressing a larger audience when I do these readings rather than a single person, and it's talking more generic about trusting your imagination, creativity, and intuition. Whatever it is, I find it fascinating that these cards come up. So be open to what's coming through, and that might be giving you some hints as to how you can open up to the possibility of releasing that sensation of being alone. We are not alone. We are connected. We are being guided. We have our angels. We have our guides. There's messages all over the place. Trust that. Be open to that, and you will find yourself feeling less and less in solitude. We'll come back in a moment to the other camera and talk a little bit more before we finish off the readings for this week. There were a lot of powerful messages being delivered within that short reading, so I hope you were paying attention. We will review a little bit some of the things that are going on in the cards, and the first card from the Mystic Bliss deck for change and transformation is I Am Abundant. And that was a reminder, I think, for many of us when we're feeling alone, that we are not alone. We are abundant in energy surrounding us, our guides, our friends, the tribe that we've gathered around us, our families. We are abundant. We are not alone. Feeling alone is feeling disconnected from all of that energy, and what is actually happening is you're denying the fullness of who you are. So I want to encourage you to remember all the things that are part of what makes up your universe, your world, and be aware of how abundant that is. Now, I know it's hard when you're feeling lonely and are looking for companionship, but there is more than just that connection with another soul that we need to remember. We are abundant in our connection to spirit. So do remember that and hold that energy with a lot of passion and care. Our second card was from the Mystic Journey deck, and that is number 27, I Am Enough. So that's another reminder, not so much that we are not alone, but in our solitude, we might actually be enough. In our feeling of being alone and not everybody understanding what we're doing, could be that we just need to understand that you're already enough. And number 27 is a mother card, which means we need to be nurturing and taking care of ourselves, being gentle with ourselves. That's mother is the gentle energy. And 27, once again, I don't get too much into numerology, but do remember that if you are into the angel numbers or numerology, you can be looking at 9 or 27 in your research over the next little while. Our third card from the Men of Magic series is I Am Protecting, and he sits in the East. We've had a lot of Eastern cards the last few weeks, and I'm finding that that's speaking about trusting your intuition, trusting the things that are coming down. You're being downloaded. It's a very interesting time for a lot of sensitives, and that is about reconnecting with that intuition and spirit and trusting what's coming through. When I was writing for this card, I was thinking that I was going to talk about, protecting the things that are valuable, but I did find that it helped me unlock a lot of things that I was protecting, in other words, hoarding, rather than expressing because I was afraid. So instead of looking at protection from a fear point, I wanted to remind everybody that what you could maybe doing is putting up too many barriers because you're afraid to feel vulnerable, and you might need to expand before, so that you don't feel so left out or alone. Reconnect and stop worrying about being exposed, because you are protected, you are safe, and that might help you unlock that, whatever's blocking the concepts of feeling alone. So again, it could help with relationships, it could help with interpersonal through the office, or so that people understand you, or in families so that you get more understanding and connection happening. But I am protecting, once again, trust your intuition because it is in the East. Maybe listen to those downloads that are coming through and not worrying about hoarding them, but share them. And by sharing them, you are actually opening up to not being so alone. Before we go this week, I want to remind you that I am available for one-on-one card readings, whether in person, Skype, or via email. I'm also still offering membership to the Card of the Month Club. So that is still a closed group in the sense that once I fill my spaces, there won't be any additional openings, and I do leave it maxed out at 50. I still got some room. And they will start again in January and run through till December. So if you want some information on that, just go to the website, look up the Card of the Month Club membership. And lastly, I want to remind people that I do additional events such as workshops and such, and I do have one coming up in January, and this one is geared towards teens that are empaths and are trying to figure out how to handle this, especially valuable for people who have children who are empaths and they're trying to help them, but they lack the tools. So if you're a parent of a teen and you feel that this is something important for them, trust your intuition, reach out, go to the website, and see if the timing will work for you. Lastly, I want to remind people to subscribe, share, comment, because it is your comments that help this channel grow and create some ideas for future card readings. So just a reminder that I always need ideas for card reading themes. And if you comment below or send me an email, or it happens in a one-on-one conversation, and I get this idea from you, and I use it for a reading, I will thank you by sending you in your inbox a single card message that is directed or personalized for you. Once again, thanks for joining me again this week. I do love doing these readings, and I enjoy hearing more and how these impact you. So send those emails, comment below. We'll talk soon.